right, guys, welcome back to the second episode of Real Talk Russ. Me, your host, Russ Martini, joined by my best friend, co-host, Ty. Now we're just calling him Ty. Now we're just calling him Ty.
There's a story behind that.
There's a story behind that. He actually hated that when we first I started calling you Ty, and you hated that shit.
Hated it.
And you know what? I didn't care. I just called you Ty.
And it's stuck ever since.
And now everybody calls you Ty.
Everybody calls me Ty.
Love it.
Hate it.
But yeah, my best friend Tyler. And here we are, guys. It's our second episode, so we're kind of breaking into the flow of what is Real Talk Russ. Yeah. So on this one, we're going to kind of get into like more of our background, kind of like where we our friendship really kind of took off.
Yeah.
We didn't really touch on this one too much on the first episode, so it'd be kind of fun. And I think a lot of people probably will relate to this. Maybe some won't, maybe some will, but who gives a shit? Because it's us.
Give fuck.
Yeah, right. So on this one, we're going to kind of talk about like Marvel in the MCU. And just kind of like that's really where we saw like our first commonality with like actual interest, right? Because we got into the deep stuff and all that kind of shit. But at the end of the day, like we had a good interest in going to the movies. You know, at the time, all the Marvel movies in the MCU were real big, right? Iron Man, that
they were just
thing.
taking off.
Yeah. 100%. Actually, you're right. Yeah, they were just taking off. 2013 as Iron Man 3. Like that stuff was just taking off. And that's, I think, where our interest found. And that might have been the first thing that really where you and I were like, oh shit, you're into that too?
Yeah.
And then that was it. Like from there, it just started.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna kind of touch base with that. So I'll start off on this one. Like growing up for me, I think back on my childhood and I'm like, what were the certain things that I had growing up, right? That were like my tune in. So Star Wars was one for me, right? Obviously wearing a Lucasfilm shirt. Star Wars was like the one thing that I was able to tune in. As I say that with like a whole sleeve of Star Wars tattoos. It's where I tuned out, like I love that, man. That was my fantasy. I just sat there and watched those VHS tapes, dude, the original ones. And that was my life.
It's like the old school, the original.
Yeah, dude. It was like literally like the old, like drawing artistic version on the covers of the VHS. That's the one I had, the original ones. Yeah. And they weren't even mine. They were like my brother's. And those things probably don't even play no more. I wore those suckers out, dude. I watched them so many times. They're beyond played out. They probably don't even run anymore. But that's what that's what it was. And then I remember like we'd go to the store and mom would like, we'd be shopping and stuff. And she would always like, I was the youngest. So she'd always kind of like spoil me a little bit. And when I say spoil me, I mean, I'm not talking about like I'd get great stuff, but like she sometimes bring back a comic and or like
I'm the middle child, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Or I'd get like something, like a little Lego set or something, like small, nothing big, like the mail order Lego sets. You remember those things? Like she'd get me like the little ones, right? Like, we couldn't afford much, so it was just like stuff like that. But I remember one of the comics that I liked most was, and this is kind of funny because we'll get there. We'll trust me. I'll get on this one. That's why it's funny. But it was an Iron Man comic, and one of the first ones I really made an impact was an Iron Man, and it was like War Machine was in it. And I remember, so for everyone knows, like that's my dude. War Machine's James Rose, man. That's my man.
Yeah.
And I remember on this one, I connected with that guy so much because he was like a Marine in the comic. Okay. And obviously, my dad was in the Marine Corps. So for me, I was like, oh, that's dope. This guy's a Marine. Like, I kind of connected with that. And he was like in Vietnam, like smoking a blunt kind of thing. Like, it wasn't even like actually,
token black guy.
Yeah, it wasn't even realistic, dude. It was like, it was terrible really looking at it. But I was like, oh, dude, this guy is cool, and he was like Tony Stark's pilot, like that's how it was. But I remember that, and my mom gave it to me. Like now, I think that was totally inappropriate to give a little kid, but we went through worse, so who cares, right? But it was just one of those things where I'm like, damn, that's why. So he was like my favorite, really, and I loved it. And then obviously he became War Machine, that whole thing. So I remember really connecting with that. But the reason I said it was funny is because when the Iron Man movie came out, which was like, really, that's what kicked off the MCU. Everyone thought that was dog shit. You knew this, right? Everyone was like, why would you pick Iron Man? It's not even a good character. Like, no one understood. And I was the only one who was like, oh, that's dope. Yeah. I hope War Machine's in it. Like, literally, that's all I cared about. Yeah. So for me, like, it was not so much Iron Man as much as I became a fan of Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr. because really we became a Robert Downey Jr. fan more than Iron Man because he now is Iron Man, right? Like.
He didn't have to act for that role.
No.
He just said, like, hey, go be you.
Yeah, exactly. I think Jon Favreau did say that, just be you, and that's really what he did. But so that's where, but it was, like, for me, it was a War Machine. And then the other one was The Punisher, dude. I love the Punisher, man. But that was more like I see some people in the background. Our production crew's like, yes. Yeah. But that's like I said, that was more like, teenage years when the first Punisher movie came out. And then I really started getting into those comics. But that was dark stuff, dude. Like that
was the appeal to it.
Yeah. Oh, it was dark. That was not
Iron
for
Man
kids,
and War Machine weren't going around killing people like that.
No.
And Punisher was going around just decapitating fools.
Dude, and when, this is newer now, but the Punisher War Machine, oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
When Frank Castle steals James Rhodes' Punisher, our War Machine armor, dude. Pretty much tells Nick Fury get fucked, and he just takes off with it, dude. Oh my God, I hope they bring that. John, let's be real, John Bernthal, dude. He's the Punisher.
He's the Punisher.
He's as much as Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. John Bernthal's the Punisher.
He's the Punisher. Yeah.
Which maybe one day we'll get him on this podcast.
Oh, he's coming.
Yeah. So hey, man, we're gonna get you on the podcast one day. You're gonna laugh when you see this episode because you'll be sitting right here.
Which is funny because his podcast is actually about.
His podcast is called Real Ones, so we're plugging that one in.
Yeah,
we're Real Talk, but he's Real Ones, so pretty cool.
That'd be dope.
But we'd love to have him on. Mm-hmm. But so I think that was those are my guys with comics and stuff. What about you, dude?
So growing up, I was always entertained by the fanatical, right? Like the fantasy worlds, all those kind of things. I was a big gamer growing up. Still am a big gamer. Everybody that knows me, right? Very young, I got into Dragon Ball. Which I think a lot of people did as a kid, like in our old asses that we kind of got into that. And Dragon Ball was so amazing to me because it was different from the morning cartoons that we had. Mm-hmm. It's different than Bugs Bunny and Donald Duck and all that. And I got to see a little kid that was flying and had all these powers and all this kind of stuff, And then from that, I got into kind of Marvel, early Marvel comics, I got into early 90s X-Men. X-Men was my thing.
Oh, man. Dude. Saturday mornings waking up, dude, that was the go-to cartoon. Yeah. You weren't hanging out with me unless you were watching it on Saturday.
And Wolverine was always my favorite, Oddly enough, now I can't stand X-Men, but it's a whole other thing we'll get into. But just the direction that Marvel's taken. But obviously got into Pokemon.
You're not Hugh Jackman? No, I'm joking.
I mean, Wolverine's 5'3", Hugh Jackman's 6'6". That doesn't make sense. But he did okay.
He's cool in it.
He did okay. But, I got into all the things that kind of took me out of my own reality, and Pokemon I was huge into as a kid. I remember, when I was a kid, Pokemon was brand new in 1996. I'm 10 years old, and this is first coming out, and I started watching, I started getting my first mangas of Dragon Ball. I started getting comic books of Marvel, all these kind of things, and then that whole kind of genre, to me, it's all the same thing. Whether it's manga, whether it's, Marvel comic books, because in Japan they call them mangas. Obviously, it's the same thing as comic books for us, right? So
that shit's different though because it's the way you read it.
It reads left to right.
Yeah. Right to left.
Right to left. Sorry. Yeah, right to left. We read left to right, right to left on mangas, and it's all black and white, and so that was kind of interesting to me.
Yeah.
And but Marvel to me was always key. Marvel, DC. I was really big into DC comics as a kid. Not so much into the movies now because they're all dog shit. But we'll kind of go into that as well.
Michael Keaton Batman though in the movies, dude.
Oh, Joker.
Jack Nicholson.
Yes. Yeah, he was pretty damn good.
Yep.
So, those kind of movies as a kid. I was never into Star Wars. You know this. I fucking stand Star Wars. I liked one movie, Rogue One. That was
best movie ever.
That was my movie I liked. I couldn't stand it, or the other ones. But all those kind of fantastical movies where you have powers, you have all the things that human beings can't do.
Right.
To me, that always excited me, and that's what kind of got me into the kind of the lifestyle. To me, it's a lifestyle. Because remember back in the day. You weren't cool if you liked freaking Pokemon, if you liked, anime, if you liked, Marvel. You were considered a nerd.
Yep.
And now in today's life, it's cool to be a nerd.
Dude, there was this girl in 6th grade. I'm not going to say her name.
Say it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, say it. No, I'm not going to say her name because obviously, but she was in 6th grade. And I don't know who did this, but she brought a holographic Charizard, first edition card. Imagine what that's worth now, right? I think Jake Paul could probably tell you what that's worth. But she brought this to school and in the card protector, and somebody stole it.
Yeah.
And because they stole it, literally, I think at the time it was worth $100. So that's what I'm saying. Imagine what that's worth now.
And that was a lot of money back then.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Yeah, it's like $100. And someone stole this thing. They made everyone take off their shoes. They made everyone empty out their backpacks, their folders. They searched everybody.
Yeah, dude.
No one found it. It was never found. But whoever the little asshole who did that,
they keistered that shit.
And whoever kept that thing, dude, that has to be worth some money, right? As long as they kept it in pristine condition, they didn't screw it up. But it's insane, man. Like, so Mallory, if you see this, I didn't take that shit because I wouldn't be doing this podcast if I did.
He said her name.
I would have sold. Oh, hey, we'll bleep that out. That's what post editing's for. Hey. But I did. But it's true, and she's probably like, yeah, man, that sucks. But I'm just telling you, like, legitimately, like, think about that, like. What was like popular then, like was not, or what's popular now was not really popular then.
It wasn't acceptable to be popular.
I think that's what it was. Right?
I think everybody secretly was. We all did it. We all loved, what we loved. But like we couldn't go to school and be like, hey, I love Pokemon cards.
Dude, I wouldn't have walked in. You would have walked in with that shirt, and I wouldn't have walked in with Lucasfilm. Like, that's not a thing.
Me personally, I would have, but
Well, okay, that's to be fair. If you were like the average normal kid, you probably would not have, because you would have gotten like punked or something like that, and like it was tougher then, dude. It wasn't like you could just, everyone's like, oh, Timmy's feelings.
It's like in 21 Jump Street, the new one or the newer rendition of it.
Yes,
so when
dude,
Channing Tatum and I forget the other guy's name, but they go into school and like the nerds are the cool ones.
Yeah,
and they're actually getting picked on because they're not the nerds anymore.
Yeah,
so
you hit me because you're gay. He's like, no, I hit you, and then you turned out to be gay after the fact. He's like, it actually would have been worse if I didn't hit you because you were gay.
If you think about it.
Right?
That moment in that movie, which is sidetracked, right? But it's so indicative of what today's life is, right? Like,
100%, dude. That would be us if we went back to... Dude, man, if we went back to fucking high school today... First off, we look too damn old. But if we did...
Yeah,
bad day, dude.
But, so those are the, the kind of interests I had as a kid, and obviously you had as a kid too, and it's kind of what helped us bond later on in life, which we're kind of about to go into. We bonded over nerd shit.
Yeah.
Like what's acceptable as nerd shit, right?
Yeah.
Because, as we talked about in episode 1, like me and you kind of butted heads at first, and then we found some commonality and kind of who we are as a person. And then we got to a point where we understood each other, but we weren't friends yet. Mm-hmm. Right. And then we had to find something to kind of like, oh, I enjoy that too. It's just like at that point I knew you're a real guy. I'm a real guy. Cool. Leave me the fuck alone. But like we don't have problems anymore. But then I remember you talking about War Machine one day, and I walked into the office and I overheard it. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, War Machine, tell me everything you know about War Machine, because I'm a student of the game myself, and then you kind of gave me the, huh? Like you? And I'm like, we did the Spider-Man meme, like you know? And it was cool from that moment. I think we really kind of sparked each other's interest other than, oh, this guy's a cool dude.
Yeah.
And then we had some commonality to actually talk about.
Yeah,
like hobby-wise,
Yeah, because I remember, like, at that point, we had already gone to watch, like, well, individually, separately, independently, I should say. We had gone to the movies, right, to the openings and all that to see them. And then I told you, like, that's something I do all the time. I'm like, no, dude, I always go to the openings first day one.
And I told you,
at night. And
me
you're
too.
like, yeah, me too. And then we're just like, oh, well, now we got to go.
We got to do it.
And we started, and then that actually became a thing. We from that point on, it was right after Iron Man 3, I think we started going to all of them at that point.
Yep.
And,
I think Age of Ultron was our first movie together. I think. I could be wrong on that.
Man, we
didn't go to Iron Man 3 together.
We didn't go to Iron Man 3 together. I went with my ex-wife on that one.
Okay,
and it was just me and her. Because
me and her...
She
hated me.
So well, that's another topic. Topic for another day.
That's right.
I think... No, we didn't go to that one. It was either Age of Ultron or what came out for... No, Winter Soldier.
Yes.
It was Winter Soldier.
Yes.
That was the first movie I think that we went to go see together.
Yeah. Because I remember the one before that, I saw Thor 2. I think, I don't know, I could be off on it, but I remember, it was right around that time frame of the MCU where we kind of started going to the movies together. And from that day, we have not missed a single Marvel movie. Well, the new ones.
We'll say from that day till about 2020. We'll say 2020
till Endgame. Let's just say Endgame.
After Endgame, then we pretty much called it. Well, we saw a couple after. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll get into those until like our Mount Rushmore of movies.
Yeah.
So that really kind of really depicted why we kind of really hit it off, I think, after that, because we had that same interest. And dude, that was fucking, they have it so easy now. Yeah. Man, when we were going to those things, you had to fucking wait in line.
I know where you're going, Aaron.
You had to fucking wait in line. If you didn't get there at like 3 p.m. on opening day, you were getting like some shit seats. Like,
that's not true.
You couldn't pre-select your seats. Well,
because I went with you. And so, if anybody knows this about Russ, so back in the day, the movies, you did have to get there very, very early. Like the old videos of Star Wars movies where people camped out a day before.
Yep. Which I did one time.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Hardcore fan.
Fucking Star Wars. Anyway, so we would go to movies like 10 minutes before the movie started, right? And Russ always had a way of getting us to the very front of the line.
Hell yeah.
And I don't know what, he's got the gift of gab. He fucking does. I don't understand it because it's like the dumbest shit that anyone ever says. But he'll walk up to the very first person in the line and convince them that we're actually there in front of them. And they're like, oh, yeah, of course, yeah. So then we're just all in a huge group right in front of the line, and then we get to pick our fucking seats. And every time it was a different story. I can't explain it, but
yeah, it was great.
It worked.
Yeah, I just love, like I say, you act like you're supposed to be there, and no one will question you.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, this guy knows what he's talking about.
It's literally like you walk into a theater, right, with a ladder and a badge. No one's gonna question you. No one's gonna be like, "Hey, why is that guy walking in?" Yeah. They're not. No one's gonna say anything. They're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I mean, he looks official. he must be here for a reason." Yeah. It's the same concept. Like you just show up, like you cut the line. You're just like, "Hey, no, yeah, what's going on, man?"
You sit down on the seats with your ladder.
Yeah, right. And everyone just nobody even thinks twice about it, and I love it. But it totally works. I've done that a lot of times actually. I shouldn't say that.
I've been there.
But we've done it a couple times at like Disney Star Wars, events and stuff where people were waiting in line for a long time, and it's like, dude, I've seen it, But either you're gonna do it or someone else is gonna do it.
No,
I'm gonna get a lot of hate on this one.
Either you're
I'm gonna get a lot of hate on this one. I'm gonna have to block comments off. Yeah, you're that fucking guy. I'm guilty.
I remember you from.
Hey, I'm just a hardcore fan, man.
Okay.
But yeah, so what would you say? Okay, like I gotta ask this. We're gonna say, what are your top 3 best MCU movies and the worst 3 MCU movies? So we'll start with the top 3.
Top 3 favorites or top 3 worst?
No, top 3 best. Your favorites, all time. Your Mount
number one's Iron Man. Started everything.
Beginning
and
number 1. Okay.
What I love about that movie is, for everyone that knows, is that there was no script for Iron Man. They thought it was going to fail. They expected it to fail. And they did not want to hire Robert Downey Jr. because of his past transgressions.
Yeah, that was his first one where he really came back.
And, obviously, given his story, I don't want to, go into his stuff. I mean, if you want to join the podcast, talk to us, you can. But, he had drug problems, jail problems, all those kind of things, which obviously I relate to. Mm-hmm. And then he kind of rebounded his life, which I relate to, right? And they came in and said, we expect you to fail. There's no script. And he just ad-libbed 70% of the movie, and Jon Favreau kind of gave him that leeway.
The GOAT, Jon Favreau?
The GOAT, yeah. He actually has done some decent things in Star Wars too. But
dude, everything that guy touches is gold. Like, it doesn't even matter what like Christmas movie, touched it, gold. Yeah. I'm just not, it's insane.
Friends, gold. No. So that was definitely my favorite, and just and it started everything. It was the genesis of all the MCU, which was what we know and love. I have to throw, I know you hate this, but Doctor Strange, the original Doctor Strange, the first one, I have to throw that in there.
I like it.
I don't know if it's number 2 or number 3.
I don't hate it. No, I like it. I like it.
I loved it. I think it was a great it reminded me of Iron Man 1. So that's why.
I think, what's her name? The actress. Not Rachel McAdams.
No, that one. Yeah.
Not Rachel McAdams.
Okay.
The, what's her name, man? Oh, it's killing me. Her character in Doctor Strange. Oh my God.
Girlfriend.
No. The main, she's the reason why the main sorcerer chick. Oh my God, what's her name? Dude, I am drawing. Now you're making freaking blank right now.
The almighty one, the bald one.
Yes, she's bald head. Yes. Oh my God, I cannot think right now. Anyway, we'll insert here her name and a picture of her.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's phenomenal, dude. She
great.
sold that movie for me, honestly, and I can't even remember her name. This is terrible. Someone back there can Google it for me.
Yeah, that'd
be great.
That'd be great. Struggling up here.
Yeah, we're struggling. But
Tilda Swinton.
who?
Tilda.
That's her name in real life.
Yeah, she did a phenomenal job though. She did. She was great.
Do you know why though? Do you know why that she was in it? Because the Sorcerer Supreme was usually depicted as an Asian person, but so when the MCU put out this movie, the whole Asian market refused to play the movie if they depicted an old ancient wizard as an Asian person. So they canceled that out. That's why they picked a white woman to do it.
She killed it.
And she killed it. It actually worked out.
Dude.
If you notice in the movie, they go in and they thought this Asian dude, the dude with no hand, that they thought that he was the Sorcerer Supreme, but then they changed it right over. So it was kind of like a play on, get fucked. We're not really doing it, but fuck you. You know.
One of my favorite scenes in Endgame was when she was in that scene.
No, she was dope.
You know, like dude, I was like, oh my god, this is so dope. Like that scene brought so much, and it made me connect with the first Doctor Strange movie. Now seeing it even more, but I agree with you. Okay.
And I would have to, for number 3, I think it has to be the climax, dude. I would have to do Endgame, only because I don't think it was personally like the best movie individually, but it was the climax of all 23 movies, to where they did so much fan service and a lot of things that we asked for, and then everyone kind of shit on the movie afterwards for certain things. And we're like, that's what everyone was bitching about. Like we wanted certain things, and we got all those things in there. And I think they did an amazing job of just kind of culminating the whole universe together. Because I know the director that did the first 2 Avengers movies, he told me, he's like, there's no way that I can do that many characters and that many stuff. He's like, it's too much shit. I'm out. And then, the brothers killed it, dude.
I love when someone thinks something is too much and someone else is like, nah, we got it.
Yeah, I got it. And they had a clear vision.
Hold my beer. We got this.
They came in and I thought it was so amazing. Like they touched on so many different things, like, Captain America picking up the hammer, dude, which touched back to Age of Ultron. Like there's just so many different things to where it kind of just like, oh shit, we knew it. Because after we saw Age of Ultron, we're like, dude, I bet you Captain America can pick up the hammer. And it was something that it was like topic points that we talked about forever and ever. And then to see it actually come into the theaters, it was amazing, man. And I still say that was the best cinema that I've ever seen, just because of how we felt in the movie. It's not about like if you sit back and watch the movie right now and you're like, all right, it's a cool movie. But when you were there opening night and you saw those things and you felt those emotions, dude, there's no experience like that I've ever had.
People screaming at the top of their lungs,
dude.
People crying, like
right now, if someone's talking in a movie next to you, you're like, shut the fuck up. But then in that time, you're just, everybody's pumped, dude. And like I've never had an experience like that other than the MCU.
It's like riding a ride. Yeah, like that's the best way to put it. Like it's like getting on a roller coaster. Like everyone's just experiencing it together, right?
Yeah.
And it's like people are screaming. Their hands are in the air. It's all of that, and it's really what it was, 100%.
And they talk about it like comedy movies. Like when other people are laughing, you tend to laugh more, right? Like it's more funnier, right? Like I thought Austin Powers was the funniest movie I ever saw in my life, but then when you watch it by yourself, you're like, it's not that funny. Yeah. But everyone thought it was funny in the theaters.
You see Tropic Thunder, and then you're like,
Tropic Thunder. That's the dope. RDJ again.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so
the worst 3.
No. Well, no. We'll go to that. I'll give you my best 3.
Oh, perfect.
I'll give you my best 3, and then we'll get into the worst. So as much as I want, because Iron Man 1, I agree, it's a phenomenal movie. No gang signs, please. Just kidding, throw it up.
Just kidding, don't.
Don't put it on your recipe page. No, as much as I do love that one, and I really do, I love it. It's great. I said it already, I'm a War Machine fan. So Iron Man 2 is going to be number 1 for me. Yeah. Iron Man 2 is going to be number 1 for me. Hey,
I'm here.
It's here. I'm here. Let's move on. I love it.
That was the best
and Don Cheadle kills it, man.
Yeah,
he absolutely does a really good job. I remember people thought he was too old for the role or whatever.
Yeah.
Kills it.
Yeah.
Phenomenal actor, too. Oscar-winning actor. He's great. Iron Man 2 for sure will be my number 1 movie.
Okay.
Number 2 movie, it may be controversial. People might not agree. Some people probably will agree. I'd say The Winter Soldier.
That was a really good one.
And that's the first time we got to see the Russo brothers, right? I think that was the first movie they did. Winter Soldier, phenomenal. I really, really, really enjoyed that. It was a little darker. It was a little different. We weren't really kind of expecting that. It wasn't really comical.
It wasn't MCU-ish at the time.
No, it wasn't. Yeah. It was different. But it became what we know now as the MCU. Yeah. And that's what I really liked about it. So I would say Winter Soldier was number 2 for me. And then we're tied with number 3, I think Endgame, because that's what we waited for. I think that was like the coup de grace. We waited how many years to get that? And we got it, and we were happy.
Years? Was it 15 years? 2008?
From the 2008 is when Iron Man 1 was released. So,
Yeah, long time.
Dude.
I don't know. I can't math.
Yeah, don't ask what I do as a real profession because then you're gonna be concerned that I can't math. But it doesn't even matter. The whole point is
I'm actually a math teacher, and I still
that's right. Yeah, he's actually a professor in math. But yeah, dude, and I think that's really where it ends. Like you said, you already said I wouldn't need to repeat it, but just that whole feeling, right? That entire entity of what was Endgame in the theaters, dude. That everything, that entire experience was phenomenal, dude. Yeah. And I think it was just at that point the greatest feeling I'd ever had watching a movie.
Yeah.
Next to Rogue One in the theaters. I'll be real, because that for me was like my childhood. But yeah, it was phenomenal, dude. And everybody was feeling the same way, dude. I saw that movie in every format, whether it was regular, IMAX, 4D, D-Box, you name it, dude. We watched it multiple times, and it's like you said, there's a lot of fan service in it. I'm not saying it's the greatest movie, but a movie could be so much more when you're actually feeling something, right? Because visually what you see and you hear, that's one thing. But when you feel something and everyone in there is feeling that with you, that changes the dynamic, man. That can make a good movie great. Yeah. And, and it can make a great movie the best movie. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's really kind of what we were feeling at the time. So, yeah, I kind of agree. Now, to change direction. Actually, hold on. Let's throw this in there, though. What would you say best Marvel shows? Now, you could even include the Netflix shows.
We still got the worst shows, the worst movies.
I know, but we'll do this just as a little nod to the Marvel shows. What would you say that your top 3 Marvel shows are? You could include the Netflix one.
Oh, I'm going to. They're all there. So,
start from the bottom, number 3.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So I'm trying to. I know 1 and 2. I'm trying to find 3. Fuck, I don't know 3, but I'll give you.
Marvel.
Definitely not. I didn't even watch that fucking show. It's so stupid. I would never. You couldn't pay me to watch that show. This is what we're gonna get into later. Is why we hate Marvel now. But number 1, I'm gonna have to go Daredevil. Reason being, because my number 2 is Punisher. But we couldn't have Punisher without Daredevil. Yeah. Right? Because Punisher, or Daredevil, I think was the first time Marvel deviated. It was almost Winter Soldier-esque, right? It was deeper. And that was the cool thing, is because Netflix allowed them to do different things. Like on Disney Plus, you can't do what they did on Netflix anymore. Yeah. Like I know they have those shows on there, but they'll never do anything like that again. Yeah. I think Daredevil was probably the best show that I've seen as far as Marvel goes. I like the Loki, I liked all those kind of things, but like as far as just genuine, real and raw, Daredevil, hands down. I loved Kingpin. He did an amazing job in it. Punisher number 2. I may go Loki 3, honestly, because right around that time when they started doing shows, we kind of fell out of favor with the MCU and all those kind of things. Yeah, I'll probably go Loki 3 because I actually did enjoy that show. It wasn't the best, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Jessica Jones fan?
Definitely not. Definitely fucking not. She shouldn't even be a fucking character.
I thought you were gonna go Iron Fist because little chest hair, little dragon.
Well, it's not Luke Cage, your favorite. Oh, Sweet Christmas.
Hey, we gonna check some fools later, all right?
Tony's out there laughing somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Top 3 for you.
Dude, so top 3. That is tough. I agree wholeheartedly. Hold on, which season of Daredevil did you like though? Which season was your favorite?
My favorite,
because I'm going to go season specific for mine.
So probably the best season was 2, but my favorite season was 1, if that makes sense. Because 1 was the inception of it. You know, 2 was dope because John Bernthal came in and all that. But you can't get there without the inception of it, right? Yeah. And I think the first season of Kingpin was amazing. I think later on in the series it got kind of cheesy, like in season 3, I believe it was, and they kind of lost the aspect of who Kingpin was. Yeah. But season 1, it was very dark, very gritty. I remember when Kingpin took a dude's head off with the fucking car door, right? And this is a Marvel show, and you're watching him decapitate a dude with a car door. And you're like, I'm not used to that, Yeah. And so it was very dark and gritty, and Daredevil was so dark too. Like he was almost kind of like Batman-esque, like you know what I mean. Like he had some demons in him. Season 2 was a better overall shot, production. They had more money in it, better characters. But season 1 for sure. Okay,
all right, interesting. I'd say honorable mention to Echo, the newer one. I think that one was pretty good. So that'll be 3 for me.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's one of the newer ones for the Marvel show. So and I would say it's a nod to what you're talking about with Daredevil and that kind of dark, right? It's like Kingpin's in it, and it's like it's setting up the precedence for where we're going, right? With I think they're kind of realizing, hey, we need to like go back to what the fans really want, not like
not Miss Marvel and
not appeasing the crowd that they're trying to currently appease, and they're kind of realizing those aren't the fans necessarily in the masses. The masses are what got you there. So I would say probably Echo number 3. Number 2, I'm going to go with Daredevil season 2, because that is when John Bernthal comes out as a Punisher, and that dude, man, I would say he did a phenomenal job capturing, like, of course it's dramatization, of course, you know, but capturing like a Marine, dude, like just like the way he acted, the way, he really was, dude. I was like, damn, this dude.
You and I had a lot of conversations about that. About like, I would ask, because, I'm not in the military, and I would ask like, hey, how is this? Does this actually make sense? And you're like, oh, 100%.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, 100%. And the way he acted, dude, was very interesting, man. And his conversations were dark, man. They were real. They were just like the comic, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did a really good job. I don't even know. Shame on me for even doing this right now, but I don't even know if he read the comics at all.
He did.
I don't know if he was a fan or any of that, but I'm glad he made it his own character, right? He wasn't being the Punisher that we saw in, like the 2003 or 2004 movie or whatever that was.
Thank God.
He wasn't doing that. He was doing his own thing, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then of course the Punisher. Right, that's number 1 for me. I think he did a phenomenal job. Again, just capturing that character. It's Frank Castle, dude. Like 100%. Like he just so that's honorable mentions to the shows, I guess is what we'll say.
He killed that role for sure.
Literally and figuratively, he killed that role, dude. It's phenomenal.
That's always the dope thing about Punisher is like he's in a world with all these people with superpowers, and he's just a dude with a gun and a mission. That's
exactly what I love about him, dude. He's like, you got a crazy suit. Yeah, you got all these special powers, dude. I got this 911, I'm gonna fuck you up. Like get out of my way, dude. I don't care. You're gonna beat me up, cool. Cool.
I'm gonna go down swinging, dude.
Yeah, I love it, dude. He's not scared of death. And it's like, I love it, dude.
He's already dead.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We're deep cut right there. Yeah. All right, so then we'll do your top or your bottom 3. Starting with, I don't know, whatever way you want to start. You want to go the worst? You want to go the best of the worst?
Or do movies and shows, or like
just do movies
separate? Okay,
just do movies. Shows.
So the all-time worst movie ever made in the history of mankind is The Eternals. The Eternals.
You know what? That's funny, dude.
That movie fucking sucks.
I almost don't even consider that one because it's so bad.
It's almost like DC. Oh, that never happened. We're just gonna erase that. No, but that movie was fucking dog shit.
The Eternals.
That was fucking terrible.
We went to go see it, and I remember looking over at you, and I was just like,
I wanted to leave.
I'm surprised you didn't say Shang-Chi was up there for you.
Shang-Chi is one of my favorite movies.
I'm surprised you didn't say it was up there.
I know, but that would be... So, to go back, Shang-Chi was I think, personally, is one of my favorite Marvel movies, but it didn't have, like, an overall impact on the Marvel Universe.
Okay.
Right? Because we already had the whole MCU. Yeah. And then it was, like, after that, we had a good movie.
So you're going holistic. I like it. I like it. Okay.
So Shang-Chi was a good movie, but I don't think it didn't draw me into Marvel. It's not what got me there. It's just I think it's the only good movie after the MCU like ended in my eyes, right? Ended. And then they went out with Eternals, and it made me just fucking want to kill myself. I'm sorry, that movie was so fucking bad. And I hope you guys are all watching, because that movie was fucking terrible. It was dog shit. And if you guys make a second one, you're not going to get any fans in there. That was fucking terrible. I can't overstate this. It's bad. Okay.
We get it. You don't like it. You don't like it. You're not alone. I didn't like it either.
It was, dude.
to say the least.
Whole concept, like, we've been chilling here this whole time while you guys were fighting all these bad guys, but now we feel like getting up, and we're way stronger than everybody. I'm like, this is bad. Anyway.
Yeah.
Acting sucked. Everything sucked. Fuck that movie. Then 2 would be Thor 4, which is controversial in my mind because I love that story. I love the story of like the God Killer, right? I love that story. I thought Christian Bale was okay in it, but that movie was it was too comical, which was always your problems with.
That was my problem with Ragnarok.
I thought Ragnarok had a good balance of it.
So, okay, you actually said it best when you said it earlier when I was talking about Winter Soldier. You're like, that's not what we knew the MCU to be. I'm like, but when you look back on it now, that's what the MCU became, right?
Yeah.
That was my problem with Ragnarok, is it wasn't comical, and then all of a sudden, or the movies weren't comical, and then all of a sudden Ragnarok came out and it was comical. I'm like, why are we laughing so much in this movie? Like, you can't tell me if you watch The Winter Soldier and then you watch Thor Ragnarok that those are
that was Guardians of the Galaxy. They did that.
And that's kind of why I was like, that's what it felt like. It felt like it was trying to be Guardians, and I'm like, why are we trying to do that? Like, I'm not supposed to be laughing. Thor is a very
serious
and really sad kind of a character, man. Like, if you really break it down, right?
Yeah.
So why was it like made out to be a joke? I think that kind of bothered. Maybe I'm speaking out of context, but maybe bothered Chris Hemsworth a little bit. And I know Anthony Hopkins was even kind of like, unless we change up the role, I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah. Like, because it got a little dry and mundane, dude. Like, there's only so many times you can laugh at the guy who's like literally lost everything in his life.
Which I thought they did a great job of in Endgame, when he was sitting there talking to Rocket, and he was like joking, like, oh, I've only lost, my brother, my family, half my people, all this kind of stuff. And then he's just like, oh, but I'm fine. And then Rocket's like, oh shit, like this guy's fucking lost fucking everything, what I mean? And I thought that was a good play on it. But Ragnarok, I thought, was like pushing the envelope. And then Thor 4, like, I don't know what the fuck happened in that movie, dude. Like, it was just it seemed like a blooper reel the whole time. Like, everyone's just trying to be too funny and dumb funny, and I lost interest. And what was a great story in the comics turned into a very shitty, stupid movie. Yeah. Number 3. Damn, I didn't even think about that one.
I thought you were going to say a certain one, but I'm not sure.
Probably Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. It was either going to be Captain Marvel or Black Widow, because I know you weren't a fan of Black Widow either.
I didn't hate the Black Widow movie. I just hated the timing of it. Like, we should have the Black Widow movie right after fucking Iron Man.
100% agreed. Like, 100% agreed.
They were just trying to, like,
which is
retcon
honestly fucked up to Scarlett Johansson. Because she did a good job in that character, and her character got killed off. But I think that was not justified. They should have gave her movie when the height of her fans wanted to see.
We waited 10 years, and then after she actually died in the movie, we're like, okay, cool, let's go back. And then, like, that was stupid.
Hence why we now have problems with Marvel and kind of what they're doing because of that whole thing. And I agree with you.
Fucking dumb.
It's stupid. It is. But okay, so.
Yeah, Miss Marvel. Remember back in the day, or Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
I was the one that was always pumping up Captain Marvel because I liked the character in the comics.
Her character's badass.
You were actually like, you're like, I'm not really feeling this movie, all that. And then when it came out, we had like an opposite reaction to it. You're like, I actually liked the movie. I was like, I fucking hated that movie.
I will say why I liked Captain Marvel, and I might get judged by this, but I'm gonna be real.
Oh, I'm judging.
When we grew up, it was the 90s.
True.
They did a very good job of capturing the 90s in that movie. And that to me is like, look, I've been called many things, and nostalgic is one of them. Okay. All right.
Marvelous.
So I'm going to be honest, like they captured that 90s vibe a little bit, and it brought me back to my childhood. So I enjoyed it. I remember like a lot of that stuff they kind of showed, I remember seeing as a kid. Yeah. Like the outfits people were wearing, the stuff that, that they were doing. And I'm just like, man, it really brought me back. They filmed some of the movie out here too, so it was kind of funny. But yeah, that's one reason why I kind of connected with it, and I liked it.
And again, for me, that was like the start of when they started like retconning bullshit. Like all of a sudden, we're going to explain how Nick Fury lost his eye, even though we already explained it in a different movie. But now it's going to be about a cat that's not a cat and all that. And I'm just like, dude, can we just not? And then now they're telling us to watch that movie first to start the whole. You know what I mean? I'm like, no. Or second, technically after Captain America, but I'm not a fan of the retcon shit. Like just make your movies. Have them go in order, and if you left something out, then fuck it, don't even put it in. Like I don't need to know about Captain Marvel.
It only becomes a thing if you make it a thing at that point, and I kind of get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I kind of agree, man. It was a weird kind of a concept, but anyway, I get what you're saying. I just still kind of fight myself a little bit with that one.
You like it? It's okay. It's okay.
Well, no, I do, but like I said, for different don't judge me, please. For different reasons, though. But I was going to ask you real quick. So what? That was which one was your? What would you say though?
So like which in order?
Yeah, like so. One more time, because I think we kind of got off on that, and I didn't.
No, I said it. The worst one was the Eternals.
Okay,
most dog shit movie in the fucking history of the world.
Yeah, I got that. What was the last one though?
Was Captain Marvel.
So it was Captain Marvel. It wasn't Black Widow.
No.
Okay.
No. I just again about Black Widow. The only thing I hated about it was the timing.
Okay.
If they would have had that movie like in 2009, I'm like, oh, good movie. Or decent movie. It wouldn't be like the best, but it was a decent movie. You know?
Okay, cool.
Worst rating movie in MCU? Quantum.
Ant-Man. Yeah, I could.
That was a bad movie too. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
I
Number
could.
one rated movie in the MCU? Black Panther.
I don't agree with that. But
That's
that's
you know why that is.
That's a topic for another day. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I look just because something's popular, I don't think it makes it the greatest movie. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Definitely. Wasn't.
Yeah. Let's see here. Going back to that.
So what are your worst?
My worst. I 100% agree with you. We don't even have to sugarcoat this one. Yeah. The Eternals. That was. I honestly, it's so bad that I didn't even remember it was that bad because I don't even consider it an MCU movie.
I didn't consider it a movie.
Legitimately, like I
Should've
think
never
we
been
wanted
shot.
to walk out at one point. In
No,
time.
we did.
That's harsh, dude. We've walked out of movies, but I think I don't even know why we stayed. To be 100% honest, with you. I can't even say why we
Almost
stayed.
like loyalty to the brand at that point.
Yeah,
Like we're so
but-
invested in it, but we're like, we shouldn't.
I remember looking over at you one point in time in that movie, and I really looked, and I was like, "Fuck, dude, this is what it's become now." And I
Yeah.
think that's where we kind of were like, "Yeah, dude, it's not what it used to be," and we're just like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty rough. Let's see what goes above that. You know, the sad part is, dude, and this almost looks bad on me. If they're bad, I just kind of erase them out of my head. I don't even think about them. Like, I really don't even think about them, dude. I'm really trying to like jog my memory. I can tell you all day what's good.
Thor 2 wasn't the best.
Dark World, you know.
It's okay, but I wouldn't put up the worst. But it wasn't the best.
So you guys, I don't know if you guys heard James back there scream.
Ant-Man's, yeah.
Ant-Man was one. That didn't bother me. I don't care. Ant-Man, like, did I watch it? I did for the sake of watching it, but maybe it's on the bad list too of bad movies. I would say honestly, I'll get a lot of heat for it. Black Panther, didn't care for it.
Yeah.
I wasn't invested in it, so I don't care for it. I think Chadwick was a great actor, phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
He did it well. And when I say Black Panther, I'm not talking about the original one. I'm talking about the second one.
Yeah.
Sorry, what is that called?
I don't know. Didn't watch it.
Wakanda Forever. Yeah. Thank you. I didn't care for that one.
Yeah.
So that one I just didn't care for it, man. And I'll say that. Like,
Obviously, untimely death of Chadwick sucked, and they had to like get put into like a different direction for the movie, but they didn't do well with it.
I thought the original Black Panther was good, the first one. I thought it was good. It wasn't a top one for me, and it wasn't on the bottom. But yeah, the Wakanda Forever movie, I just didn't care for it. I'm like, you guys you kind of missed it on that one, which kind of sucks because our current job added some production value to that movie, and I kind of was hoping it would have been something worth talking about, and it really wasn't. So that would end up on the crappy list for me. And then I'm gonna say it, Black Widow, dude, because of my resentment of where they put the timing on that movie. For me, I thought it was really just poorly timed. They should have gave that movie, like I said, right after, maybe somewhere around Iron Man 2, a couple movies after Captain America, something around there.
Like right before Avengers, maybe?
Where we wanted it. And that whole movie was exactly what you said. It was retcon. They just went back and said, hey, we never told her story, so let's tell the story about somewhere in between, Endgame and Infinity War, but before, like, what are we doing, man?
She survives this movie, but don't worry, she's going to die right after this.
Yeah, she dies right after.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
But she survived this movie to die.
It was
bad.
It was
bad
just,
timing.
yeah. So that made me not like it. I think, not to say it was a bad movie. I like I said, Scarlett Johansson, great actress. She's she's a gem when it comes to her role in that. But I just thought it was just bad timing on that movie. So I just did not care for it in that way. I wanted to like it. I mean, that's why I wanted to like it more than I actually liked it.
Yeah.
You know?
Almost like bias going in, like it's going to be a good movie, and you're like, oh wait, it's not.
Yeah.
It's the bad one.
Yeah.
So what current movies do you like in the MCU? Like we're kind of going into it, or what do you not like about the MCU? Like me, like we talked about earlier, the only movie I've liked so far is Shang-Chi. I thought it was an amazing starter movie, right? It kind of gives me, in a way, and just follow me along, it's like Iron Man starter vibes, right? Like you get the inception of his role. I got the Shang-Chi inception, Doctor Strange. I understood the process of his opening movie. Was it the best movie ever? No, but I enjoyed it, And every other movie that's came out, with the exception of Spider-Man, No Way Home, that was good. But still, I feel like it's like out of place now because the whole MCU's done, and I feel like that was just a fan service movie, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but like I just don't. there's no want for me anymore, which is so crazy to say after everything we've talked about, how we've always gone to opening movies, all that. Like after the Eternals, after, just some of the movies that have come out, like, dude, I don't know where they're going anymore.
There's only so much bad you can take, and then you just kind of feel like they try to overcapitalize on the success, and they're like, yeah, after a while, people realize you're just trying to ride that same wave.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're essentially, you're like, hey guys, we cooked, some filet mignons for you guys 5 nights a week, but now we're going to serve you hamburger meat. We're going to call it a Salisbury steak. Like, what? No, you're serving shit now. That's what you're doing. Yeah. Like, don't try and spice it up. Like, you can put whatever you want on top of it. It's still crap. Like, that's what we're getting. And I'm sorry, man, you're not going to, persuade me to go to the movies. And it sucks, man, now with that. Yeah. And that's kind of where we're both at now is like, the quality is not there. There's a lot of, it's not even fan service. I think it's a lot of like,
agenda pushing.
Yes, I didn't want to say it because
I'll say it.
We're on our second episode. I'm not trying to get canceled right now, but yeah, like
I'll get canceled. So in the video game they put out a long time ago. Here we go. Fuck. So they put out an Avengers video game. Yeah. And it was supposed to be like the next big thing, and it was all great, right? And we're in the height of Avengers movies.
Yes.
And so all of a sudden the character that they're trying to push upon us is Miss Marvel. Mm-hmm. Not someone that the general public has no idea about. And so we're in this game, and we're trying to...
Well, to clarify, the new Miss Marvel. Because the original Miss Marvel was dope.
Yes.
But, okay, we'll
go
back.
Long hands.
Long hands, Stretch Armstrong Miss Marvel.
From a foreign country, all these kind of things.
Right.
And all that. And they made her the star of this video game that we've been waiting for so long just to play the original Avengers. Or not the original movie Avengers, right?
Right.
That's what they promised us. And now she's the star of it. And I was like, okay, it's kind of weird. Like, that's not what we're here for. And it killed that game. That game died within a week. Like, you can look it up. Like, it was done. And then now they're starting to push, like, other things. Like, nobody wants that character. Like, it's a cool character. Like, some people like it, but nobody wants that to be the star of the franchise moving forward. That's not fucking Tony Stark. That's not Iron Man. That's not going to pull the franchise.
It's not even Spider-Man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, they couldn't do that.
Don't talk shit because James is going to get upset. James loves Spider-Man. But
no, I know that. But I'm saying, like, it's not even that where people were like, oh, yeah, we've been wanting this. It wasn't any of that. And
nobody asked for it.
Yeah. That's the agenda pushing. Like,
yeah.
And that's why I'm saying, like, that's the stuff where you start to lose fans. Like, just appease your people that are your fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, they did the same thing with Star Wars, dude. Like, Disney, unfortunately, did the same thing with Star Wars. And it's like, after a while, you just... Are those your fans? Are those new fans you're trying to pull in?
Yeah.
If that's what it is, then just say, hey, actually, we're just trying to appeal to a new crowd right now. So old fans, forgive us, but we want to bring some new blood in, right? We need to bring some new people in.
And then they lose all of us.
Just tell us. That's fine. But don't, once again, tell us you're serving something, but you're actually giving us something different.
Yeah.
If you went in to get your Whopper from Burger King and they really throw a Big Mac in there, you might actually be happy for that. But if they did that, it's not what you ordered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's just give us what we ordered. Like, give the fans what they ordered. Like, they're there for one thing, give them that. Like, stop swapping it out. Yeah. I had a big problem with, like I said, that with Star Wars and stuff. We'll get onto that. That'll be another episode. But
I won't be there for that episode because of Star Wars.
Yeah, I'll have someone who actually has good taste in movies.
We have James there.
yeah. Well, we'll get into it. But yeah, dude, and I think really that's what kind of happened. Like you said, a lot of agenda pushing, a lot of like social justice stuff going on. It's like, dude, I watch these movies, any movie, right? But specifically like the Marvel, Star Wars movies, to get away from all the bullshit and politics and all that crap we see on TV.
The fantasy, right?
100%. I want an escape, dude.
Yeah.
That's what it was for me as a kid. That's what it was for me as a young man growing up. That's where I am as a middle-aged man now. Like, I want to tune out to that, and get away from that stuff. I don't want to turn on the TV and essentially have it be like Jimmy Kimmel, dude, where he's talking about the president again. I don't care about Trump. I don't care about any of that. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
I want to watch something that's going to take me away from the crap that I'm hearing about all day.
Or see a guy shoot laser at his eyes across the world.
Yeah. But all they want to talk about is push these like agendas and like I'll tell you what, dude, when I watch these shows, I don't care if they're lesbian, I don't care if they're transgender, I don't care like what their sexual orientation is. So just don't feed it to me. Don't tell me what it is, and I won't ask.
Just like the Spider-Man, was it the comic movie?
Which one?
What's it called? The one where it's a comic version. The with the Spider-Man. Spider-Verse.
Oh, the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. The second one was all agenda.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, no one cares about that. Like, we just want to... The kids, dude, they don't care about any of that stuff. They just want something to tune out so that, take them away from the shit they're dealing with.
They want to be entertained.
Especially kids that are growing up hard, dude. Like, like some kid, his mom's got a black eye. He doesn't want to, go and care about what, Spider-Gwen's sex preferences, dude. He doesn't care. He just wants to go watch Spider-Man save somebody, and if he looks like him, cool, he'll relate to that. But you don't have to push an agenda on somebody. And that's the thing, is like they're getting it's adults that are pushing their own agenda onto like everybody else. It's like, stop, man. No one cares. Like nobody cares. This is comics at the end of the day. Let's keep it back what it was, It's almost innocence. And it's like, why are we trying to corrupt that with our own agendas? That's the shit that bugs me, dude. It's like, fuck, man, no one wants to. That's why I'm doing this, right? We're creating our own thing, and we're not pushing this on anyone. We're just putting it out there if anyone wants to hear. But yeah, definitely not. Don't push the agendas, dude. And that's what kills stuff. And they're gonna see it, dude. They will start to see it, dude. Like it's like, was the quote is "Go woke, go broke." Like it's gonna happen, dude. It's gonna freaking happen. You just have to just chill out with that stuff. Let people come to be entertained. Don't sit there and force the same crap that they have to deal with every day in the stuff that they go to tune into, like escape. Like just don't do it, man. Don't do it. But yeah, so that's kind of what's happening with the MCU, dude. I think it's kind of tough. I wish I could say that the movies were going to get better, but I don't know. They right
canceled a bunch of them.
They're pushing towards like the Secret Wars, I think, right now. That's the direction they're going in, and we'll see how that works. We'll see how that rolls, but I think I have more hope for the shows at this point. So recently, you guys are going to kind of know when we're doing this now, because I'm going to kind of date. So the as of like 3 days ago, John Bernthal threw out a little Instagram post. I sent it to you the other day. And so he was sitting on the set with the dude from Daredevil, what's his name? Charlie Cox. And Deborah Anwell was there, so it's like they're bringing some of the same characters back, right? The chick who played Paige, she's back in, so it's really neat now that we're starting to see those. So I have a good feeling that we got some good shows coming.
That I'll tune in for, because I'm a Daredevil fan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, you're a Punisher fan too, so what I'm saying, like it's gonna look good. So I'm excited for that. Like I said, Echo looked really good. I don't know if you saw the Hawkeye series.
I did.
It wasn't bad.
Wasn't terrible.
It wasn't bad.
I didn't like Kingpin in it, but the series itself wasn't bad.
It was just a good way to introduce him. So they're just bringing it in. So like, and you kind of see it with Echo now. He's more Kingpin-ish in that show. James saying yes back there, but yeah, 100%. He's more Kingpin-ish. So it's good. But so I'm excited to see where that's going to go. We'll kind of see. I think this year we'll see. We'll probably hear more during Comic-Con. We're not gonna be at Comic-Con because it was just a big whole thing. But we're gonna be in San Diego the week of Comic-Con when all that's going down. So we're hopefully gonna have some nice interviews with some people out that way. So stay tuned for those episodes when they come out. Obviously that's some time out, but hopefully we'll have some good stuff there. And then we'll have some new release, information too with what they're doing there. Like I said, I just hope it gets in a better direction right now. It's kind of rough, man.
I even heard some stuff that they're trying to bring like RDJ back and all that, and I don't want that either.
No,
I don't want to. How about just create a new lane? Like you know what? Go back to the basics, man. Like what brought us here in the first place?
The only thing that I would be down to see, and this was like an older Instagram post, it was like I don't want to say it was a meme, but it was like essentially an Instagram idea is what we'll call it. A nice little gem is where they talked about like a series that Disney Plus could have did, where it was with Chris Evans, and it was Captain America, and it's like for like however 5 episodes it would be where he goes back and you get to watch him take one Infinity Stone back each episode, so you get to see him grabbing the Infinity Stone, taking it back, and where that whole episode is based on that one stone.
I would agree with that.
That would be pretty dope just to see. Well, where he goes, we know what happens with him, but it's just that episode between him and then when he meets Peggy Carter again.
Yeah,
and then ending that
thing.
Imagine ending it with that scene again.
Yeah,
that would be that's a cherry on top, dude.
Yeah,
that would be a really cool series just to see. Like, call it fan service if you will. Sure. Yeah. It's not going to give you anything like you can't live without, but it's going to be a little bit of fan service where you're like, oh, that was dope. That was cool to see. You know? And they could even segue certain things, new, maybe some new villains or something that are going to come out. You can, hey, if you guys heard it, just give me some credit on that one. No, I can't. That was an Instagram idea. I wish it was mine.
No, that was a Real Talk Russell idea for sure.
You heard it first here, guys. You heard it first here. Yeah, but All right, well, I think that's we're gonna call it a wraps on that, man. We can go for hours on this topic, and
our production crew would not like that very much because we can go to about 6 a.m. here on this one.
100%. But I think, like I said, at the end of the day, it's kind of where our feelings lie on it. Hopefully, we don't get canceled, and after our second episode, we're done.
That's fine.
Everyone's gonna be like, "Fuck those guys!" They don't want to hear us anymore. No, but it was pretty good overall. Like I said, guys, if you enjoy these kind of topics, these kind of discussions. This is just one of those ways we kind of get into the real talk, even on something like comics,
hobbies.
Yeah, and it's gonna be real, man. Like I said, a lot of times you're not gonna like the stuff you hear. You might not agree with it, or maybe you do agree with it, and you're like, I'm glad someone said it.
Yeah.
Well, here we are. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
To piss people off, right?
Mm-hmm. God sent me to piss the world off.
That's right. But yeah, so it is what it is. But yeah, like I said, if you guys are enjoying it, great. Give us a follow on realtalkrust.com. We have our link tree up as well, so you can find all our social media on there. Russell_Martini is my Instagram. You can find Ty. What's your Instagram?
Tyler's Go. It's on the page.
It's on the page. Cool. So yeah, look us up, guys. Follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast. Have a great one, guys, and thanks for joining us where the talk gets real.